Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. I got screws. These are screws. Boy, I hope your day was good. My day was good. My day was great. I felt like my day was great. And then my day, okay. let me explain this a little bit. Woke up in a good mood, got to work in a good mood, and opened up my desktop and started thinking about what I'm going to do for the day, right? So, I'm a programmer, and I keep a whiteboard right next to my desk, and on that whiteboard I have a giant task list, essentially. You know, I don't use like any of the online to-do card type apps. I just have a whiteboard. So I have the 3 applications that I work on on this whiteboard with just basically a simple task list broken down by category, broken down by task, and I put check marks next to it when I'm done. And so then I have a big space of the whiteboard where I can whiteboard parts of that as I'm doing it. So like, I'm going to start on this task and I'll just start whiteboarding on it over here and then turn it on and type. I still work very visually. So having this big visual like roadmap essentially is good, right? So yesterday, my boss comes over, and we were talking about the application that I brought with me. Plaid is the thing that I designed, and we were talking about. I forget how we got on the subject, but we were talking about the way that users register for the site. And as of yesterday, you could just, if you knew the URL to the registration page, anybody could go register, and then that would immediately give them access to some data, very little, but some data based on whatever institution they decided to register as. And I always wanted to fix that. I always wanted to make it so that you needed a token to register that would be emailed to you by the organization that was going to let you register. And so we were talking about that. And so he was like, well, why don't you add it to the whiteboard? And I'm like, I should. So I turned around and added that to the whiteboard. And then like 2 hours later, he comes back, and the big, giant, huge, massive program that I am slowly adopting, that he's slowly trying, let me take that back, that he is slowly trying to get me to adopt, had some issues with registrations. And it was funny because we were both like, we just had this conversation, and then he goes back and notices some issues with registrations, and he's like, we should really add like a CAPTCHA or something to that page. And I was like, that's interesting, because we were just discussing this whole thing, and I said, yeah, I can add a CAPTCHA. That's no big deal. It's just an API call to Google, and then you check the response, and there you go. So I said, sure, I'll do that. Added it to the whiteboard. And then he's like, well, I'm going to be out for the next couple of days. And I said, I'll take care of it. No big deal. And then I'll just put it out. And then if you want to commit it to production, that's great. If not, you wait till you get back. No big deal. So that was yesterday. So I get to work today. I'm looking at the whiteboard. And the app that I've really been working the most on, I've gotten it to a point where I've done all the fun stuff, and now the big heavy thing that I need to do is in my way, so I'm procrastinating on it by doing other stuff. And I was like, oh, the little thing that I wanted to do on my program, that should only take about an hour or so. Let's just do that. And that's what I guess this whole discussion is about, is that whole like creative estimation of time. Because in reality, it should have only taken about an hour or so. It was adding a section to the database, throwing a couple keys in there, adding a couple input fields, changing a little thing, and that's it. That's what I thought. What actually ended up happening was I did that, then discovered that the server was broken, the way that it was sending emails wasn't working, and then I started working on that with the systems guy to make sure that emails were working properly so that the links could work properly. And while doing that, I discovered lots of other, I guess, bugs that I should have fixed before in the way that I recorded some things, and then on and on and on. And then it's like 3 o'clock, and I'm like, I haven't even started on the thing that I told my boss I was going to do. Because I was just jamming. Like, honestly, I was headphones on, like literally jamming at my desk. I have a standing desk, just like I was jumping up and down. I was having a great day. And then 3 o'clock, I was like, all right, I'm going to start on this CAPTCHA thing. Remember when I said it was just a simple API call? It is. It literally is just a simple API call. But this software, this gigantic program that I am slowly adopting was written first, I think, like in 2000, and it's written in 2000 kind of way. Very, very old web technology, and the code has never really been formally refactored. Like, that's what I'm starting to do. That's where I'm headed, but nobody's ever taken the time to stop, because it's such a massive thing that over the years it has become, it has a very large user base that has a lot of functions that they want, and some of the functions that have been added are unique to specific instances of the software and stuff. So nobody's ever had time, and it's been one developer essentially this whole time, and he's never had the chance to, and that's my boss. He's never really had the chance to go back and fix it. It's just been like, okay, I'll just keep banging away and making stuff work, because he's on top of doing that, he's also a boss, and there's lots of other stuff going on. And so it's just like, at some point, somebody needs to just go, all right, you know what? Let's just start over. I don't want to say start over, but let's just start weeding through this thing and cutting the chaff and fixing what needs fixed. And that's what he's tasked me with. And it took my steam out of my last hour of the day. I was like, at 3:45, I was like, why? I'm going home. I'm done. That's it. I just can't do it anymore. And I left. That'll be my task on Monday, I think. But now that I've done work on my software, I'll probably end up working on it this weekend, because I have a whole bunch of... I was in there looking at code like, God, this really needs cleaned up bad. So I'm probably going to work on that some. But, that whole estimating creative time that's a task. That's a skill in and of itself, and it's one that I have never developed, and I don't know that I'll ever develop it, but we'll see. And it's super late. I had to get home and do some things, and then I had to go get Keely, and we have soccer games tomorrow, 3 of them. Had to go get stuff for that, and I haven't eaten. Food's in the microwave. I put it in before coming down here. Fun evening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, being my bestest friends, and I will see you on Monday.
Hey, Doc, wait! I want to ask you something.
Today's random fact comes from Wikipedia. When was the Golden Age of Athens? 5th century Athens is the Greek city-state of Athens at the time from 480 BC to 404 BC. This was a period of Athenian political hegemony, economic growth, and cultural flourishing, formerly known as the Golden Ages of Athens, with the latter part the age of Pericles.